This video is owned and produced by Hello Kinetic, a channel to practice listening and reading English every day. Learn English through real books. Expand your vocabulary and be good at English. Chapter 50. An hour later she stretched out a bare arm and tickled my ear and said, "Would you consider marrying me?" It wouldn't last 6 months. Well, for God's sake, she said, suppose it didn't. Wouldn't it be worth it? What do you expect from life? Full coverage against all possible risks. I'm 42 years old. I'm spoiled by independence. You're spoiled a little, not too much, by money. I'm 36. It's no disgrace to have money and no disgrace to marry it. Most of those who have it don't deserve it and don't know how to behave with it. But it won't be long. We'll have another war, and at the end of that nobody will have any money, except the crooks and the chiselers. We'll all be taxed to nothing, the rest of us. I stroked her hair and wound some of it around my finger. You may be right. We could fly to Paris and have a wonderful time. She raised herself on an elbow and looked down at me. I could see the shine of her eyes, but I couldn't read her expression. Do you have something against marriage? For 2 people in 100 it's wonderful. The rest just work at it. After 20 years all the guy has left is a work bench in the garage. American girls are terrific. American wives take in too damn much territory. Besides, I want some champagne. Besides, I said, it would be just an incident to you. The first divorce is the only tough one. After that it's merely a problem in economics. No problem to you. 10 years from now you might pass me on the street and wonder where the hell you had seen me before. If you noticed me at all. You self-sufficient, self-satisfied, self-confident, untouchable bastard. I want some champagne. This way you will remember me. Conceited too. A mass of conceit. Slightly bruised at the moment. You think I'll remember you? No matter how many men I marry or sleep with, you think I'll remember you? Why should I? Sorry. I overstated my case. I'll get you some champagne. Aren't we sweet and reasonable? She said sarcastically. I'm a rich woman, darling, and I shall be infinitely richer. I could buy you the world if it were worth buying. What have you now? An empty house to come home to, with not even a dog or cat, a small stuffy office to sit in and wait. Even if I divorced you I'd never let you go back to that. How would you stop me? I'm no Terry Lennox. Please. Don't let's talk about him. Nor about that golden icicle, the Wade woman. Nor about her poor drunken sunken husband. Do you want to be the only man who turned me down? What kind of pride is that? I've paid you the greatest compliment I know how to pay. I've asked you to marry me. You paid me a greater compliment. She began to cry. You fool, you utter fool. Her cheeks were wet. I could feel the tears on them. Suppose it lasted 6 months or a year or 2 years. What would you have lost except the dust on your office desk and the dirt on your Venetian blinds and the loneliness of a pretty empty kind of life? You still want some champagne? All right. I pulled her close and she cried against my shoulder. She wasn't in love with me and we both knew it. She wasn't crying over me. It was just time for her to shed a few tears. Then she pulled away and I got out of bed and she went into the bathroom to fix her face. I got the champagne. When she came back she was smiling. I'm sorry I blubbered, she said. In 6 months from now I won't even remember your name. Bring it into the living room. I want to see lights. I did what she said. She sat on the davenport as before. I put the champagne in front of her. She looked at the glass but didn't touch it. I'll introduce myself, I said. We'll have a drink together. Like tonight? It won't ever be like tonight again. She raised her glass of champagne, drank a little of it slowly, turned her body on the davenport, and threw the rest in my face. Then she began to cry again. I got a handkerchief out and wiped my face off and wiped hers for her. I don't know why I did that, she said. But for God's sake don't say I'm a woman and a woman never knows why she does anything. I poured some more champagne into her glass and laughed at her. She drank it slowly and then turned the other way and fell across my knees. I'm tired, she said. You'll have to carry me this time. After a while she went to sleep. In the morning she was still asleep when I got up and made coffee. I showered and shaved and dressed. She woke up then. We had breakfast together. I called a cab and carried her overnight case down the steps. We said goodbye. I watched the cab out of sight. I went back up the steps and into the bedroom and pulled the bed to pieces and remade it. There was a long dark hair on one of the pillows. There was a lump of lead at the pit of my stomach. The French have a phrase for it. The bastards have a phrase for everything and they are always right. To say goodbye is to die a little.